do, snackers and snackettes? It's your boy Gage. This is Snacking and Hanging, the Loading Snacks Podcast, episode 36. I have a usual suspect with me today, NuJoker. Talk to him.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah. How you feeling, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite all right. It's been a little bit of a busy day, but here we are, getting a chance to talk about the things we love the most.
Yes, sir.
So, I say we just jump right in, my man. Let's talk about Destiny, the rise of the Iron. Now, you have been playing on PlayStation 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm playing on the Xbox. Is there something specific that you already have access to on PlayStation that's not on the one
Nothing,
currently?
nothing that I'm fully aware of as of yet. I mean, I haven't, and the only thing I can think of is maybe some of the armor, if anything. But nothing. I don't think I have anything that's majorly different right now, though.
Okay. Did you get it on both or
Right now, I
just the
just
Rise
have it
of
on the
Iron on PS4?
PlayStation, but I am going to
Okay.
get it on the Xbox too.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up. So, what do you think so far?
So, I mean, so far, I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
The only I don't want to. I guess you could say it's a little bit of a disappointment. The the length of the actual main story itself was rather short.
It
It was it
is.
was it was shorter than the Taken King. So I mean, I'm not 100% mad at the fact of that because that just gives you more opportunity to start jumping into other stuff and grinding, trying to get your light level and everything up. But I was expecting, being that this should be the final DLC, big DLC for Destiny 1. I think you would try to go out in a bang, but who knows? There could be something hidden, secret that we don't know about that'll
Well,
come
I
forward from it.
mean, the raid hasn't hit yet, right? So,
No, the raid has hit.
there's
The normal raid
I
has hit.
mean, has anybody beat it?
Yes, they
I
have.
Okay.
Yes, they
So,
did.
I mean, I guess yes, you're right. The story wise, that's it. But I really feel like the raid is what everybody comes for. You know what I mean? Like you're paying the same amount you paid for Taken King. Taken King definitely felt like it was bigger and more. I think Taken King felt more important than
Mm-hmm.
this. And I feel like it's because the way the Taken King was presented going in, and really what the story is about, actually is more or less a continuation of what you were already doing, kind of in the story. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
the king is coming because it's time for some vengeance, kind
Right.
of thing, and it's a big bad thing, and there's this big bad king, for lack of a better way of saying it, that you are going to now have to face at the end of it, and you kind of know that going in. Where this is more like a side story of a character who has been more or less a side character throughout the time that we've spent, the 2 years time we've spent in Destiny.
True.
You know what I mean? When they did, the Iron Banner tournaments or whatever you want to call them, whenever those were open, this is just more or less the guy that was giving you direction or you were getting stuff from, you know, during that time. So while I guess yes, you're gonna have to face something towards the end. It didn't have that, I don't know, that same oomph. And I think it does feel like it falls a little bit flat by comparison when you go, all right, well, I paid basically the same amount for it. Um, but I mean, I guess light levels and
Mm-hmm.
again the raid and all that jazz. Like I ain't like there's not stuff to do.
Absolutely.
Um, so I mean, what stands out to you from it? If you had to give somebody a good reason to pick up the Rise of Iron, I mean, I
Hmm.
guess first of all, could you give somebody a good reason to pick up Rise of Iron?
So, I mean, for those, especially that haven't played Destiny in a while, I mean, I would say it would be a nice little refresher when you get into it. I mean, the higher light level, I say, will definitely give you the opportunity to do a lot more playthrough, especially on like the strikes, going into the Crucible for the new mode. I would say if there's some Call of Duty fans out there that maybe have been on the fence about playing Destiny, you got a mode that literally is just like Kill Confirm called Supremacy. So, I guess for the people out there that aren't too familiar with Supremacy or Kill Confirm, so the idea is you can either have there's a team version of it and then there's a solo version of it where you're fighting against a different team, and when you kill the other person, you drop, in a sense, a dog tag or in this case a crest, and you pick up the crest, and that's what gives you the point.
Right.
So if you kill somebody and you don't get the crest, or like say the other team reclaims the crest, then you don't get a point.
Right.
So new mode, which I think is always something nice to add into any type of game that you're going to look at. Um, I would say also if you've been playing, especially for the people that have completed the uh, first pack DLC and the second pack DLC. The third one is going to give you, of course, you'll have your book or so call it, whatever you want to call it, that you can keep track of stuff in there for it.
Right.
The first DLC, I mean, they had the, I guess you say it was like, I don't know exactly what it's called, but it was like that ring that had the different things on it that you had to do. So it really wasn't necessarily a book like the last two have been.
Right.
Um, this one, in comparison to the Taken King, there's a lot more stuff inside of here to do. So, like saying different tabs, like there's a tab specifically for Iron Rising, which is a lot of stuff dedicated more to the actual storyline itself. You have a tab called the Plague Lands, which is a new expansion of the Cosmodrome, where you have to do certain things in there. Wrath of the Machine, of course, that's the new raid. Now, unlike the other pages in the book, the stuff for Wrath of the Machine, it's all question marks. It does not tell you anything and how to accomplish these certain tasks. So just like the raid itself, it's literally a total mystery until you get in, you start playing it, you try to figure out the mechanics. So as you figure that stuff out, I'm guessing this stuff will unlock you as you go through as well too. And I think that's kind of cool to think about. You have to go in really truly to have to figure out. I mean, just like any other race, you have to figure out exactly what to do. But
Right.
once somebody beats it and of course uploads it to YouTube, a lot of people don't like trying to figure stuff out for themselves and they just go straight to the tube to try to figure out what to do. Me, like I enjoy trying to challenge myself to actually figure out the mechanics and everything. Um, I played the raid myself yesterday on the first part of it, and needless to say, did not figure that out 100% completely yet. Um,
Okay.
and then the only last one more page in there is called the Crucible. So of course, different tasks associated to the Crucible. So where last year we only had it was, or for the last book it was only four things that we had in total that had to be accomplished. In each page of here you have about eight different things that you have to finish in order to complete the whole book. And as this time actually, and as you complete it, you get rewards. So different armor packages. There's an emblem, couple emblems in there. There's a ship in there. So you get a little bit more with this book in comparison to the old one.
Yeah. I gotta say, man, I'm still disappointed with the ships. They don't do anything.
They don't.
That bothers me. It
I,
really
I
bothers
feel
me.
like there was there had to be some bigger
Right.
plan for what those ships were. Because I mean,
Oh, because you can
just
have
like,
more than one.
yeah,
Yeah.
because there's just no purpose. I mean, you have a ship, but all you do is you just sit in space with it. That's it. Woo.
Yeah. What my idea for it was, and what I think probably it was supposed to be, was that your ships gave you certain buffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you were using a particular ship, then when you went down to the planet to do a mission or whatever, it gave you a buff. Maybe something that affects you negatively and positively. You know what I
True.
mean? Could just be an accuracy buff. It could be, anything. Any number of things, but a reason to have different ships other than just they look different.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, we'll see what they do with Destiny 2. Do you feel like this? I mean, I think overall, Destiny's had a pretty decent run. I mean, when it first came out, I think it was broken. The mechanics were great, but the
Yeah,
story
I'll
was
agree with
broken.
you. I'll totally agree with you on that.
Um, and I feel like they corrected a lot of those issues when the Taken King came out, and so I give a lot of kudos to Bungie for that. You know, when you put something out and you say we have a literally a 10-year plan for this, um, you know there's gonna be stuff that kind of needs to be worked on and fixed throughout, and I have a lot of respect for them putting that that time and effort into that. Um, but you're a much bigger Destiny fan than I am. I mean, I like the game, I play the game, but all the rigmarole you were just talking about, like liking getting in and figuring out what's going on with the raid and how to do it and whatever, like I don't really have that kind of time. You know what I mean? Like I put a lot of
Mm-hmm.
time into Destiny, but I don't have that kind of time. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I would much rather you put it out and be like, it just so happens the raid is difficult. So get with a
Right.
good squad of people, get some decent weapons and some good armor or whatever, and come in and attempt it a few times until you get to a level where you can decently do it, and let's play the game. I'm not really in for all the puzzles and the you step on this and you stand on this and all that or whatever. I didn't really mind like the first raid when it was just kind of like, oh, these platforms disappear and you know what I mean. Like some of that stuff was puzzly, but it wasn't too bad. Um, but I don't know. It just it to a certain extent that kind of stuff feels counterproductive to me. I think that what that does is it puts a lot of people off. I think that there are a lot of people who they could have a lot more players that were consistently playing if they didn't do stuff like that. You know what I mean? If they didn't put so much time and effort into making the game difficult, not because the mechanics are difficult or whatever, but because they put a puzzle in front of you and don't tell you anything. You know what I
Right.
mean? Um, so I don't know. But having said that, again, I mean, I think the game is a good game. I think it's an enjoyable game. I don't regret any of the purchases I made. I pretty much bought everything they put out.
Same
So,
here.
um, well, you bought everything twice because you did it on two systems.
You're right.
Again, you're a bit of a bigger fan than I am. But, um, I guess my question now is: do you feel like this being the last quote unquote big DLC for Destiny One? Do you feel like this did it justice? Did it go out with the bang that you know what I mean? It seems like it should have been.
I feel like right now, I don't. As much as we know this is going to be the last DLC, I
Right.
think there's maybe a piece of this DLC that we haven't seen just yet, closer to the end. Because I mean, just from what I've gotten here, if this was the all end all, you beat this raid, you get the highlight level, and it just ends there, I would be a little disappointed. Like I'm thinking maybe there's like going to be
You
this one last mission, like you know, hey, you guys have completed everything, and once you completed all this, one last mission is going to unlock, and maybe it's just like a complete catastrophe to the world, and then it just kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger. Cause like,
and what is making you think that?
cause to me, just the way that this is right now, it would just leave a sour taste in my mouth if like I made 385. Then when the hard mode raid drops out, I hit 400, and that's just it. You beat the raid bosses, and that's it. And then when Destiny 2 comes out, I guess it just starts a whole nother story. I feel like there may be like a little something extra that maybe we'll get. Maybe it'll come from completing the book. Like with the last year one, you completed the book, you got your emblem, and you can actually order that t shirt on Bungie's website. Maybe they'll do something a little bit different. Maybe you complete everything. Hey, guys, here's this one last mission uh, for Destiny that's going to tie you over until Destiny 2 or whatever it gets called at that time. Because at least as of now, maybe once I beat the raid, play the raid and beat the raid, maybe I'll feel a little bit different. But this is just
Right.
coming from a place where like I've barely touched the first part of the raid. So maybe when I see the ending of it, maybe that'll give me a little bit more, I guess you could say, closure to it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
just
I mean, I guess that's my point. Like, I
mm,
feel like it's not. I don't know. I mean, the story part of it was pretty quick, and the raid, I guess, usually ties into it in some way, shape, or form. But it's just kind of like I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Like, I enjoyed the story, But still, for it to be the climax of what we're getting now until we get Destiny 2, technically, I'm kind of like, that's it. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
I got my hot flaming sword, and that's it. Because we already got a sword before. This is
Mm-hmm.
just a different looking sword. You know what I mean? Like, can I get that axe though?
That
Instead
axe, I
instead
would
of getting,
love to have that axe just as an
you know what
everyday
I mean?
weapon that I
Just
could use.
yeah, just something. I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, there's still stuff to do. You know, there's exotics to find and things of that nature. Of
Yeah.
course, people are gonna keep playing the multiplayer, so
Oh
there's
yeah.
always that. But in terms of the story, like I don't go for the multiplayer. I go for the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like I feel a bit underwhelmed for what for this being technically the end of this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Again, technically Destiny 2 should just pick up where the last one, I guess where it left off, but you know, this felt like the DLC maybe. This felt more like one of the first two DLCs we got, like House of Wolves or something like that, where it was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, this is just we knew there were two DLCs coming after the first year came out. Here's one. It's not that big, but there's stuff to do. They made some changes, boom, 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 and here's another one, and then here's the big thing. You know what I mean? And I feel like this was more like one of those than it was like Taken King. And so I think, like, to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, that it feels like there should be something else to it. Like
Mm-hmm.
if what's there right now is it, then you're disappointed, right? I mean,
I think that'd be a good way to say it.
I'm I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with it. There's plenty to do and other things, but you know, it does feel a bit underwhelming in terms of like closing out what you know has been a pretty decent 2 years, I would say overall. At least the last year of it has been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I think I enjoyed it though. I mean, I thought the
Oh,
story was
most
pretty good.
definitely.
Um, the the missions were okay. I think the new people they've introduced are likable. The NPCs they've introduced, um, are decent, likable characters. Nothing too crazy. And I can understand that they've kind of moved their team into working on the assets that are the assets for the new game.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that, but it does feel a little uneventful, I think, if that makes sense.
That sounds
So,
about right.
yeah. But I mean, you get to do it all over again soon
Oh yeah.
when you jump on the other console.
Yep.
I ain't doing that. That's not happening. I'm not going to do that. Um so what else you been playing? Is that it?
That's all.
Just
Like
Destiny?
this is all I've been playing since it came out. It's like I done moved up. I'm light level 360 right now. I think I'm
Okay. That
making
ain't too
pretty
bad.
good headway in here.
Sounds
Cause
like it.
the biggest way, like right now, honestly, to level up before you get to the raid, it's all in the strikes right now. That's really where the extra levels are coming from. Cause like when you go into expect the heroic strikes,
Mm-hmm.
they, with the exception of two missions that I've noticed, at the end of the mission, it'll drop two blue engrams, at least two, I'll say, and those two typically are higher than what your light level currently is. Um,
Right.
for whatever reason, on two of the strikes, it doesn't drop them, and I don't know necessarily if that's. And I've noticed that with other people as well too, that these two particular strikes just don't drop them. So if I get to those two, I end up just I end up just backing out and just
Yeah, I
going
saw
back
that
into
there
it again.
is a particular strike that is so Omnigul, the
Uh
Omnigul
huh.
strike.
Yep.
Um, if you can kill Omnigul before, if you can tether Omnigul and kill her before she disappears the first time, and you have to go back in that room. You know how she shows up, like just kind of before you go up that like I don't want to call it a mountain, but it is a rocky surface that goes
Right.
upward. But if you can tether her and kill her there, she'll drop Ingrams that are like 5 levels above where you
But
are,
uh-huh.
and that's like really one of the only ways to currently do it, because most of what you're getting is maybe going to be one above what you are in any of the other strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you just kind of have to rinse and repeat. But yeah, I mean, I'm hearing that's a little broken, and it might be just for you know making sure that the raid is a little more difficult, or
Yeah, and of
you
course
know,
it'll because like that's only gonna last because I think that only works with it when it's in the nightfall. I don't think you can just do it like on the normal strike version of it. So I think that's another reason why a lot of people are doing it now because once it goes away, I don't think you're going to be able to do it with the normal strike.
yeah. What I was told was that you have to be in the Rise of Iron at least the 350
Hmm.
strike playlist, um,
Yep, that's it.
which I'm only like, I think I'm like 326 or something like that. I don't know. It's not that deep. It was enough for me to finish the story. So okay, but um, but yeah, I mean, again, I get that, and again, it's not like, I mean, I guess that's kind of the point, right? They want to kind of keep you there and give you something to strive for and keep working towards and that kind of thing. So I mean, I definitely get that. Um, I'm interested. I'm looking forward to jumping into the raid and seeing what it's all about. But I'll wait till they figure it out. It's
Hmm.
really not that
Oh, you
deep
ain't
for
got to
me.
worry about that. It's already been figured. Matter of fact, it's already been beaten once by a team of six. They
Yeah,
did that on Friday, like about 4 or 5 hours after the release. And
okay.
just recently, three people have beat it, a team of three. Now, that one, I'm still trying to figure out exactly. I'm sure they probably win it at probably the max light level. They may have gotten close to it at
Yeah,
what it is right now. But because I'm understanding with the raid and the way it's set up, there's a lot of pair kind of things you have to do. So like say you and like one other person do one thing while these other two do something, while these other two do something. So with just three people, I'm kind of interested to know exactly how they managed to do it.
well, I mean, clearly it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
It clearly it's doable. So I don't know if that means a reason to be disappointed with it or not. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, I got plenty to do, man. Like it's time for this Forza Horizon 3. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, I'm
I
trying to
was
get
gonna
this
play it
because
early, but it's been a busy weekend,
I
so I'm
feel you.
kind of glad I didn't pay the extra money to get the version that would have let me play it starting like Friday, because that would have
It
been a
wouldn't have
waste. Because
done you
I
any
just don't have
justice.
time. Yeah, I don't have any time to mess with it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm trying to get as much done of this as I can because when October hits, it's like I got a lot of stuff that's going to drop in October
yeah,
because I'll be
well,
on
that
Dragon Ball
PlayStation VR,
Xenoverse,
buddy.
PlayStation
Yeah.
VR. Um, what else is dropping in October? Um, is Gears dropping in October? Is that October?
Yep, the 11th.
Yep. Uh huh.
Yep. Yeah, it's about to be. Normally September is where they start hitting, but a lot of stuff got pushed back, and
Yep.
so really the only thing, for the most part, was this Destiny, and I mean a couple good indie joints. Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, um, and Forza. That's really where it is, bruh. Like I don't even I you know But I've been playing a lot of Deus Ex. I'm trying to kind of, move through that before it gets too crazy.
Yeah, I never
Um,
even finished the first one.
yeah, you should. You should. I mean, even if you don't finish the first one, I mean, you could. It was free. You know what I mean? So you
Mm-hmm.
probably have it. But
Oh, I have it though.
um, I also did. I skipped out on Recore. I heard a lot of good things about it. I am gonna grab it. I just didn't. I will though. That's one of those ones that I want to have in my repertoire. I was a little shaky on that at first, um, but now I'm like I've seen enough reviews and heard enough about it, seen enough people playing it on my playlist to feel like, all right, I can go ahead and jump back in here and make something happen. So I'm I will get on that, but right now I'm focusing on Deus Ex,
Mm-hmm.
um, and 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 Destiny and trying to move through those. I'm replaying through. Um, oh yeah, because whatchamacallit is getting ready to come out. The heck is the name of that game? Um, and I just told you I saw somebody playing the Division. Like I never jumped back into that. I'm like, nah, I might have to give that a little bit of a whirl and just see what's up. But yeah, I've been playing back through the definitive edition of Dishonored
Okay.
because Dishonored 2 is about to drop. That's the other joint that's coming out. And I already paid for that, and it's downloaded, and I just can't play it, which is it stares me in my face. Um, but yeah, so Rise of Iron. If you had to right now give it a grade, where would you put yourself
Mm,
on it?
man, that's hard to say. Without me having done the raid, I mean, just for me, the higher light level would be my plus side.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, but that's kind of
the
standard. You know what I mean?
I mean
Every
that's
time they do a
standard, yeah.
DLC, they increase the light level. You know, there's some decent new weapons. I don't know what you've picked up, but
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, I still would give it a solid. I mean, I'll say this just because of the fact I haven't played the raid yet. I mean, I'll give it
right?
a solid B, just for the
Okay.
fact. I mean, the story did by all means it may have been short. The story was good. It was entertaining.
Yeah, I liked it.
Um, I mean, I'm enjoying like the. I guess you could say I don't want to say necessarily new maps, but maybe a little bit additional add-ons to some of the current maps that are already there.
Yeah, yeah,
I do like the supremacy, the new multiplayer mode. I know that's a little bit more in my field than you.
yep.
Um,
I could care less, but again, you gotta understand. I respect that though. Like I know that's
right,
why a lot of people are there. Like I'm not, I don't have anything against people who play it or the idea that they do it. But you got to remember that I'm kind of in the camp now where I feel like it's really time to stop because it gets to the point where story feels tagged on and multiplayer
right, and the
feels like the big thing.
multiplayer,
And it's like if you're gonna
yeah,
do story, just give me a separate story mode and let me. I do everything digital, man. Just give me a freaking. Just let me pay $30 and get the story mode. I don't care about that other stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to you might get $60 out of me because I'm interested in the story, but I'm not ever going to get into the multiplayer, and
hmm
you're not going to get any money out of me for extra maps or for any like I'm not for new game modes. Like I'm not doing any of that. I don't care about any of that. Like I might consider it if there's a decent co-op in it. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. Maybe if I can run against bots. So again, playing something like For Honor, where it does have a story mode, but we just kind of came off of the alpha for that, and it's like, well, but it's got co-op.
hmm
You know what I mean? And we don't necessarily have to play against other people. We can though. You know what I mean? But it's like Rainbow Six. So again, I don't have anything against that. I know that there's a market for that. I understand why people enjoy it. There was a time when I enjoyed it, but I don't have I don't know. I don't have time for that. Like I'm just trying to kind of get in, let me get some story and mess around and see what's happening and kind of get back into the reality of homework and you know yeah, paychecks, homework, and paychecks. Is where I'm kind of going back to. But I mean, so a solid B is where you are right
yeah.
now.
So far, I mean, and we'll
Okay.
see how once I can get into the raid, and I probably will end up just breaking down and watching the mechanics of how it'll work, just because I really want to get in to actually do it.
Right.
If it had been like, say, if I was off on Friday, I literally would have taken Friday to just figure it out for myself. But
Understood.
now that we're past the first team has done it, a six squad is done it, and the three squad is done. I'm just like, well, let me just go
Let me
ahead
just.
and figure it out. Watch the video of the mechanics and just go ahead and do it.
I mean, that's how I feel. Like I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna wait until people I know who I know are good at it that dig it like you do are ready to run, and I'll just be like, let me tag along. I will do everything I can to assist. Let's just get in here and play. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't want to get in and figure it out. I want to get in and I want to play.
I feel.
That's what I want to do.
And I know you
So
haven't done. You never did the Taken King raid, right?
nope,
Yeah. So
nope.
we'll go back and once we do, we'll play a little bit of Rise of Iron, level ourselves up, and then we'll go back to the King's Fall raid, and we'll just walk through that because I'm sure I
I
really want to
mean,
try that to actually see what my 360 light level, how quick it is just to move through that. Aside from some
just
of
to
the
run it.
mechanics, but just how quickly you move through it now.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm down. You just gotta say the word, and I'll jump on. I'm cool with that. Um, I'm gonna tell you what. Why don't we take a quick break, and we're gonna come back and let's talk about Agents of Shield.
Okay,
I wanna. We need to talk about that for a minute, ladies and
the
gentlemen. We'll be right
Rider.
back. Yeah. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 36, Snacking and Hanging, the Loaded Snacks
36.
podcast. Gage and good old NuJoker in the house. Listen, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Agents of Shield. I know that you weren't caught up, but then everything hit Netflix. You caught up. All 3 seasons of Agents of Shield.
Oh
Season
yeah,
four
I
started
actually ended
last
up
week.
buying the third season. Like once I got hooked
Did
into
you?
1 and 2, I just bought the third season because I didn't feel like waiting for it to hit Netflix. That was the
Got you.
thing.
Got you. hmm So season 4,
Season 4.
Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider. How do you feel without before we get into the story? I don't necessarily want to get into spoilers,
Mm-hmm.
right? People may not have seen it, but if you didn't know, we are gonna spoil that Ghost Rider's in it. I don't know how you didn't know it, but whatever. Ghost Rider's in it. There's more than one Ghost Rider. This is the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider,
Mm-hmm.
which I like. How do you feel?
So far, I I like it. I mean, just for
Yep.
the, I mean, it was only one episode, but I think he made a good entrance.
Yep.
So kind of that well, spoil like show up, you don't see him, but you know it's him.
Right. Of course.
Like
Right.
there's no way you not know it's him. Um, and we've seen a little background of his character. Some things that he has going on, I guess you could say, in his life or whatnot ever. Um,
hmm
but not spoiling to him, but him turning into Ghost Rider was actually pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it was.
That was pretty
Yeah,
damn
it
cool.
was. Yeah. Yeah. I have to agree. Um, for sure. Um, I felt like they did a phenomenal job of just like the setup and this like and where it left it. This kind of like Ghost Rider versus Quake kind of thing.
I
Like I
know,
like that they have officially made Daisy Johnson into Quake. Like they're calling her
calling
Quake.
her that
You know
now.
what I mean? Like the outside world only really knows her as that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Um, I like that we're in a place where you kind of don't really know what happened exactly at Shield, and but clearly things have been shaken up and changed, and
Clearly,
like who's in charge of what, and like who's an agent now that wasn't an agent before, and the different teams, and like the way they kind of divided that original team up. Um, yeah, I mean, I kind of like the way it's shaking out, but it definitely leaves me wondering what direction they're going in terms of who is the big bad. Clearly, they're not going to be fighting Ghost Rider throughout. He's
not
clearly
at
going to be an
all.
ally.
Yeah,
So, you knew going into the last season, even by the end of the first season, you knew Ward was their big bad, basically. You know what I mean? Like, he was the target. And he remained that until the end of last season.
yeah.
So, now that he is out of the picture, there has to be a new villain that, you know what I mean, is in play. And what's interesting to me and what really has me excited about what's going on with this season is like after seeing what they've done, what they did with the team, kind of where they are, and them leaving some question marks. as to like who's actually running Shield right now,
Right.
stuff like that, really makes me wonder what's happening. Mostly because I know that the introduction of Ghost Rider into this show is about kind of helping introduce the cosmic side of or the magic side of the Marvel universe into the
Mhm.
Shield universe into the MCU, literally to drive a path to help with what's coming with Doctor Strange.
Mhm.
So we know that, just like always, halfway through this season we'll get Doctor Strange in the beginning of November, and then we'll take a break and we'll come back. And the events that happen in Doctor Strange will have affected what's going on in Agents of Shield. That's one of the things I love about this show, is just how they do that and the timing with it and stuff like that. So now I'm just kind of like, so who is it going to be? And is it going to be, because right now they're under the impression that whoever the Ghost Rider is an Inhuman.
Right.
And what's going on with May? That's a
Hmm.
problem. That's a problem. And I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to tell y'all, eyes open. Something's up. I don't like it. I don't
I
like
don't
it at
like it
all.
either.
She can't be the new Ward. We're not doing that. I'm not having that. I'll be really upset. But yeah, so I'm thinking it's gonna be something mystic, something dealing with the mysticism side of things or whatever that they have to deal with, and their idea of, okay, so this team, the possibility that the team that Quake is going to end up leading, this is possibly going to have people on it that are mystical people instead of just people that are Inhumans. That this
Right.
isn't just, oh, we're replacing the X-Men and we're going to give her a team of mutants. We're going to have a team, of superpowered beings that aren't just, Inhumans, but they'll be, mystics too, and you know, whatever. I'm dumb interested in what's going on with that. So, um, you got any guesses? Could
I
you
don't.
guess?
I don't even know. It's like, do you think maybe you think possibly the director, it would end up turning out to be Nick Fury again, and he's done some kind of, I don't know, super left field something. He just shows back up, or maybe somehow this is the we get the change in Nick Fury. I don't know. Maybe they say that, hey, it's Nick Fury, and they go see him, and it's like, wait, you're not Nick Fury. I don't
Could be
know.
the White Nick Fury.
It could be like it could be something
Be Nick Fury's
totally,
father.
but it's like it doesn't. I don't put it past the fact that maybe it is still Nick Fury in control, but he's just pulling all these behind the scenes trying to things again. Um, I don't know.
Here's my
Like,
thing. The thought crossed my mind that during the episode while I was watching it, the thought crossed my mind that like maybe because we haven't seen him in a long time. You know what I mean? Like he was on the show, but he wasn't in Captain America.
uh
You know
huh,
what I mean? He wasn't in the last movie. Like we haven't seen him, and not everybody necessarily knows he's alive. I don't think. Like as I'm kind of like pondering it in my head, I don't think everybody knows that he's still around, so to speak. And if you remember, at the end of Winter Soldier,
mm-hmm.
no, was it Ultron or Winter Soldier? Winter
No, it was Winter
Soldier,
Soldier.
he left. Was like, got burned the patch and was like, I'm going to square some things up. Do you want to go with me? And the captain turned him down, like, nah, I got to go see about Bucky, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, and he was like, if anybody's looking for me, you tell them I'm right here, buried and dead. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where is he and what's going on? Clearly he's still out there and he's doing
He's
something,
doing
stirring something
something.
up. But I also am of the mind that it's time for them to start introducing in Sword, possibly, which is just like Shield, but is the
Right.
intergalactic version of it, so to speak. I mean, we know we're gonna get Carol Danvers. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We know that there's going to be something going on. I mean, they could do an invasion thing. You know what I'm saying? Um, it just, I mean, we've already had the introduction of the Kree,
Mm-hmm.
so um, it would not be impossible for there to be Skrulls. And that way you continue the alien threat thing, but you have Sword, and then you go into Guardians 2. You know what I'm saying? Next year, and then of course you end up with Carol Danvers. Like all of that makes sense, but who's gonna be running it if it ain't Hill? See, Hill, I could see stepping in Nick's absence, ending up back in charge and doing something like splitting that team up. Like I can see her doing that.
Right.
But the fact alone that during that episode, again, I don't want to spoil it, but there was a certain person on the team who kind of got moved up the chain, who's kind of become the director's right hand or overseeing the team, sort of thing. And they basically came out and said, I did this so that I could keep an eye on them because no, I don't trust whoever the new director is. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Kind of thing. When it was asked, like, you actually trust the director, and it was like, no, that's why I did what I did. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. So it can't be Nick. You feel me?
Nah, I agree. That could be. It could be right. I don't
I'm
know.
hurting right now.
I don't know. It's this. This is one of those things. Like I really feel like when we finally see who it is, I'm hoping it's going to be like some jaw dropping something when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it probably will be. I don't know that that necessarily will be a great thing, but it probably will be. I mean, but I just want to see how it plays out. That's all. Like I'm just interested in the way it plays out. So we'll see. I know that I'm stuck. I have to work. I'm not gonna be able to watch it, but it will be DVR'd immediately. I most definitely will be coming back and watching that thing as soon as I can. As soon as I can, I'm gonna come in the house and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch that and then we'll talk about it again next week. But um, having said that, I'm gonna leave Agents of Shield alone right now because again, if we keep talking about it, I'm gonna end up spoiling
We're gonna spoil it. Yeah, that's an
and I don't want to
absolute.
spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. What I want to do, let's take one more quick break, and then we'll come back, talk about one other thing, and then we'll wrap the show up. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
And we're back. So, um, Jokes, I want to ask you a question. I'm gonna put you on the spot because I know you're not prepared for this, and that's
Uh
kind of the
oh.
way I like this.
Uh
Um, Listen. So we are fast approaching the release of the PlayStation VR,
oh. Mm-hmm.
right? Um, we are a little further away, but we're approaching the release of the PlayStation 4 Pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're expecting to get some kind of word about what in the world the NX is going to be, right? Hopefully.
Uh huh.
So, here's kind of my question. I mean, I recently saw some statements that Yves Guillemot, forgive me if I said that wrong, but I said it as French as I could, of Ubisoft has been making statements that like Nintendo hit this right on the head. Like they made some mistakes with the Wii U, but what they're doing with the NX is they're doing it. Like this is it. Not necessarily that it's better than everything, but like I guess whatever mistakes they made, they have corrected them and they're ready this time, kind of thing. Um, Not that Ubisoft wasn't there in the beginning, right behind the Wii U with its release. I mean, let's just be honest, Zombie U and special versions. It just okay. Nonetheless, um, man, I guess my question is, do you think this new Nintendo console is really gonna be in a position to compete? Now I say, let me kind of preface this real quick.
Mm.
So the Wii was not positioned truthfully to compete with the
Not
360
at all.
and the PlayStation 3. It
Not at
just
all.
wasn't. I mean, in terms of moving units though, and attach rates and games sold, like it was a phenomenon. But it was a phenomenon that died really quickly, kind of like Pokemon Go. Like everybody's doing it. It's the biggest thing ever. and now it's gone, right? And they tried to repeat that with the Wii U. The Wii U was kind of an in between. It, in my opinion, I've said this before, but is the Wii U was really just the Wii in HD. It was what the Wii should have been. You know what I mean? Like they just basically put an HDMI out on the Wii and added a tablet. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. So it was kind of a mid jump, even though it was a new system. Um, but you know they were very late to the party in terms of that tech
Right.
and online and stuff like that. Um, so here we are again. We are 3 years into the life cycle of this new generation that Nintendo has not become a part of yet,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because Nintendo put out the Wii U before the last two systems technically were dead, I guess, for real. Um, and so Nintendo's coming to the table again 3 years late with a system that is supposed to be supposedly more powerful than the PlayStation 4 is, which is interesting. Clearly, it's not going to do 4K. I will be
Yeah.
shocked.
If they announced that it's going to do 4K, that would just be the absolute total left field thing.
I will be shocked. Again, also, we're expecting that this is going to drop in like March. Okay? So, in time for Easter, which makes me feel like it also is going to have a relatively lower price point compared to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have, you know, technically Sony releasing a new system or an upgraded version of a system that's already powerful, right? So sure, the NX might be more powerful than the PlayStation 4, but is it as powerful as the Pro? Right? Like I mean the Pro's got twice the GPU power and you know what I mean? And then you're gonna have the Scorpio or whatever it's gonna end up being called coming out like 6 months after 6 to 8 months after the NX drops. One, is Nintendo even trying to compete, I guess? And if you think they are they in a position to do so?
So as far as I don't know if you necessarily want to say that Nintendo is going to try to compete. I think with Nintendo and who they try to gear the console to be is a different person that you're looking at in comparison to that person that's going to get the PlayStation 4 Pro or the Scorpio. Now,
Okay.
do I think they try to maybe come for like the PlayStation 4? Possibly. Just because they've been behind the curve when it comes time for performance and all that, but necessarily like when you're playing like your Mario, your Zeldas, I don't think you necessarily need to have all of that power behind it. But the issue with that being is you're leaving a whole group of individual out who may want to get the console. Because if you're only going to gear this to like that one person you know that plays Mario, that plays Zelda, you may get that same person to come back. Um,
I
but
mean,
it's
okay, okay. I hear that. And I think okay, if Nintendo was to go after the audience that already has a PlayStation 4, right?
mhm,
Cuz so many people do that if you're going for a PlayStation 4 audience, then you're going for the person who already owns one, right? And it's kind of that thing where it's like, well, sure, you have that already. So you might as well buy this so that you can play Mario and Zelda and you know what I mean? Like and Pikmin. If you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
it's not necessarily like I mean, I know we tend to think of Nintendo as like the more family friendly console maker who tends to go after the younger audience or be intended for the younger audience. But in my opinion, the younger audience doesn't want Nintendo. The
Not at
people who
all.
want Nintendo are old heads like me. I don't even know if you really want Nintendo. Like, you didn't grow up with Nintendo the way I grew up with Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm. Like
I
I
grew
told
up
like
and have. Go ahead.
oh no, like I was saying, like because for me the biggest deciding factor me getting that the NX is like say if they do like a Pokemon Stadium game or something like that, like that at
Right.
this point, obviously we're gonna get some form of a Smash Brothers. I mean, it wouldn't be a Nintendo system if you didn't put a Smash Brothers game on there.
Right.
Um,
But for you, it's all about nostalgia. So
hmm
that's what I'm saying. Like even okay, for me to buy whatever Nintendo's new system is. It has to appeal to my nostalgia specifically, right? Because I don't really care about the new Mario games. I mean, people say they're good. I'm past them though. They
No,
just don't.
I'm
They
right there
do
with
not
you.
interest me anymore, right? So, but there's also this tricky place where Nintendo is, in my opinion, that says you still need to be able to court third parties,
And that's
and
yeah,
so that means to me that the machine has to be a machine that is not designed to be able to do what the PlayStation 4 does in terms of being able to say, well, hey, you can get Call of Duty on the NX or on PlayStation 4 or on Xbox One, right? It has to be able to say the people at Activision who are responsible for making Call of Duty will make a game for NX that you can only get on NX because only NX can do it. That was the fundamental difference between what the Wii
we
could do and what every other system could do. Was that sure they release a Call of Duty, but now it's an on rails point and shoot because you could aim with the Wii remote, which is something you couldn't even technically do with like with the Kinect. Like you could do it with a move, I
right,
guess, but you couldn't do it with the Kinect. So, you know, developers were creating new IPs or versions of existing IPs that could really only work in that, on under that circumstance, which is, a lot like what the 3DS is. You know what I mean?
hmm
So the reason why the PSP was not as successful as a DS isn't because clearly it wasn't a power thing or whatever. It was because what a developer could create for the PSP wasn't different from what a developer could create for a PlayStation 2 or a
right,
PlayStation 3 outside of the portability and the amount of power that it had for one system versus the other. Where with the 3DS or the DS, yes, you have traditional buttons and a controller, but you also have a touchscreen at the bottom, which
hmm
allows you to do things that are different and innovative and changes the way that you actually play. And that is attractive to people who are artistic and want to be creative, right? Where, sure, there's something to be said for something being able to be, I don't know, easily ported, right? Because you can make the most money if you can get it on all the systems.
right.
And so maybe there will be that. Maybe it'll be like, yep, it has a regular controller where you can play any game you might get on anything else. But let's be honest. Who is left that doesn't already have an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4 and or both 3 years in, right? That maybe is still sitting on a 360 or a PlayStation 3 or even a Wii U and is just waiting for whatever Nintendo's going to do so they can grab that and not get a PlayStation 4 or not get an Xbox One or not get a Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe that person exists. I don't know who the person is that only has a Wii U, only buys Nintendo consoles and can't wait. Now, I do think there is something to be said for the tons of people who do have a 3DS and
hmm
are just waiting for the next handheld from Nintendo, and maybe this is going to be it. And so they grab that audience. You see what I'm saying? Because if they say, well, yeah, you can just go ahead and play Call of Duty Infinite Warfare on the NX, but then if you're ready to leave the house, you can just go ahead and
Pick it
keep
up and
playing
put it
it
on
on the
there.
one you take with you. Now we got some fire happening. You know what I mean? But can they do that? Like, I mean, I guess they can do that, but will it matter? I guess is what I'm really asking. Will it matter?
I would love it to matter because, like, I would really love Nintendo to get back into, I guess you could say, get back into the ring with Microsoft
Okay.
and Sony. I would like to see that. Like, I would like to see, yo, you have the choice of these three consoles, and you can get, like, say, your Call of Duty on all three of these consoles, and then it's either, hey, you get this exclusive content here on PlayStation, or the NX, maybe, yeah, it's got the handheld part, you can take it with you wherever you go, or Xbox, whatever it is that they're gonna have. Like, it would just be really cool to see that again.
I mean, I think Nintendo's in a tough spot because of where they release. I think part of what they do is kind of smart, or at least it was, right? Because the idea of having consoles that are already available, you've already picked up a PlayStation 4, now you're picking up an Xbox One because you might as well. Um, and then Nintendo comes along with something where you can't play Mario Kart anywhere else, right? And so I've already spent the money on these. I'm not looking for a new console, you know, from one of them because I already have it. I'm gonna grab this, and then the water it gets muddied because PlayStation says, well, we're putting out a better version. So
Right.
now the money you might have spent for a new Nintendo console, you're like, I'm gonna get this. You know what I mean? And you're doing that, and you're going, I'm gonna get a 4K TV, right? So you grab a 4K TV and you grab a PlayStation Pro, and you're like, sweet, because now I'm ready for whatever Microsoft puts out next year, assuming I want to spend the money on whatever it's going to cost. And then Nintendo comes out and puts out a console that doesn't do 4K, and it's back to being like on standard when everybody else is doing HD.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like the water just gets muddy again. And so it's like them being off kilter with their timeline just feels like it's kind of throwing them in a bad position. And I think that if they're smart and they actually are doing what it sounds like they're doing, which is combining the handheld and the home console together, this is an opportunity for them to seize a market that exists in handheld. And so they're not really competing with PlayStation. And they're not really competing with Microsoft unless Sony decides to do another Vita. You know what I mean? But I have to say that, with what they already own in the handheld space and the competition that they have there is in Apple and it's in Android. You know what I'm saying? And there's all these games all the time, but Nintendo's going to put out quality stuff. They're going back to quote unquote cartridges. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's going to be
And
real interesting to see.
we literally just saw, they just announced like last week, a 1 terabyte SD card.
Yeah, I shared that. I went crazy when I saw that.
1 terabyte SD card. What does that mean for the possibilities of what Nintendo could pack onto a cartridge that's portable? You understand what I'm saying? Like, that kind of changes things, bruh. Changes things a lot. But it also means that with something like that, any of the other two could jump in the game too.
Sure enough.
They really could. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's really interesting. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Nintendo is fighting a losing battle. I don't think that they have the mind share that they need anymore to continue to compete. And I think Nintendo needs a new IP. I think they need a new IP almost as badly as I feel like Microsoft needs a new IP. Like, I dig Master Chief. I think Marcus Phoenix is cool. Nobody has an icon like Mario anymore. But, Mario isn't cool to kids anymore. He just happens to be loved by nostalgic people. But if you go onto a playground during the 15-minute recess that most kids get now, that's all they get, and ask them what video game characters they love or who are their favorite video game characters, out of 10 kids, how many do you think are going to say Mario?
Maybe
You know what I'm saying?
one.
Like, fifth graders. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? And that's the thing. It's sad. Like, it is a big deal that Super Mario Run is coming to iOS. Maybe it is going to introduce Mario again to a bunch of kids who never played. But, like, I have kids that are 17, and I got a kid that's 7. You know what I'm saying? Like, 16, 17, and 7. My 16 and 17-year-old know Mario. They played Mario. They had Mario games, right? Because I made them. It was as part of the curriculum. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you need to know what this is. My 7-year-old knows who Mario is, knows Yoshi. I bought a Wii U for her. She doesn't care. She doesn't play it. She would much rather play Lego anything.
Anything.
Pick listen, pick a popular franchise, slap Lego on it. That's what she wants to play. She does not care about. She likes Princess Peach because she's a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, she does not care about Mario, like at all. And it kind of makes sense when, if you figure right now, like you can't. People were excited that Crash Bandicoot even showed up at Sony's E3 conference. Slightly disappointed because all they were getting was remakes and they weren't getting
Yep.
anything new. But it's like they want it so bad. But their kids don't know, like those kind of mascots don't exist anymore. They're not cool enough. It doesn't matter. They keep trying to make Sonic games and it doesn't matter.
Doesn't work.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Mario games work, but really more than anything, it is grown men and women who are playing Mario Party,
Oh, hands
playing Mario
down.
Kart, and they might be playing Mario Kart. There are a lot of people who are playing Mario Kart with their kids. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the main Mario games. I don't feel like that are really pulling people in. It's Mario Kart. You know what I'm saying? It's the offshoots that kind of do it, and it's because there's Mario everything. But truth be told, like with the Wii U, like my daughter has Yarn Yoshi, you know, and she's got a Kirby game. She don't even play those. She doesn't care. But you put on Lego, and she knows all those characters already. You know what I mean? So we'll play, Lego DC all day, Lego Marvel all day, Lego Avengers all day, Lego Harry Potter, which, mind you, at 7, she missed all the Harry Potter stuff. She don't really know nothing about Harry Potter. Like, I gotta go back and re-educate. You know what I'm saying? But that's what she wants to play. She doesn't care about and fighting games. You know what I'm saying? So maybe kids like Mario because of Smash Brothers. But Smash Brothers also introduced a bunch of other characters they don't actually care
Hmm.
about outside of Smash Brothers. Like, they don't want to play Kid Icarus.
Yeah.
They might use him in Smash Brothers, but they don't want to play his game. You know what I'm saying? So they don't care. It's grown-ups who compete and, you know what I mean, and like want to go to Evo that care about that. So I really think that Nintendo needs to take a hard, heavy look at the IPs that they own and really start looking at the ones that kids might still find cool that also adults are gonna like. Like, I think Link has that potential when he doesn't look like a kid the whole time. I do
True.
think Link has that potential. But I don't think most kids don't play Skyrim. So like the idea of a big sprawling adventure that's like Zelda, like we had when we were kids, like they're not interested in it. They want to play Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of what it is. So if you don't stop playing around and put Samus Aran in a game and get this Metroid going again, you know what I mean? And like really dig in and make it appealing and do something with it. Like, if you don't reach out to Disney and tie something in and get you a show,
Yeah.
talk to Netflix and make something happen. Like, they just don't. They don't care. You know what I mean? Like, and I almost feel like what Nintendo really needs to do is they need to kind of let go of Mario a little bit. Not saying give him up, but they need to take games that are Mario style or like Mario, and even if he's in it, they need to be talking to other companies like Hasbro or something like that and
Something like that.
introducing characters from other franchises in. You know what I mean? Take the My Little Pony Equestria Girls or the, whatever. Get with Transformers. Do something that kids are already into and pull them into IPs that allow it to kind of cross genres. They almost, I feel like, need to do what Lego Dimensions is doing right now, where they're literally pulling. It's cool to kids because it's Legos, but they're characters that these kids don't care about. These kids don't care anything about Marty McFly. Why is he in Lego Dimensions? But you gotta have him. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know Scooby Doo,
Hmm.
but they don't know why is Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible in Lego Dimensions now. They don't know who that is. They don't care, but they want to play it. So if you could take characters that they do care about, if it was Scooby Doo and Mario together, you know what I'm saying? If it was Spider-Man and Mario together, you know what I'm saying? Find a way to kind of tie those things together and give it a reason to work and be able to use your amiibos for something. You know what I'm saying? Then maybe.
Just
Otherwise, man, I
maybe.
feel like it doesn't matter what they're gonna do. They will find a certain level of success, especially if they replace the 3DS. But I don't think, outside of the fact that it might dock, I don't think they're in a position to compete at all. And I don't think they're trying to, or that they should try to. I think it's time to just to kind of pack that up, let them know that that ship has sailed. You know what I mean? And they need to be teaching. Like, I think that Microsoft's doing something smart. Like, they've been kind of getting into mobile for a while now. There's been achievements and stuff like that that's been available by playing games that are Microsoft games on mobile for a while. Sony kind of needs to get that hint and start trying to do that kind of thing. I don't know if they need an Uncharted Temple Run, but maybe. You know what I mean? Um. Anyway, man, look, it's time to shut this down so we can get back to Destiny and so forth. I know that's what you want to do.
I'm gonna play a little Destiny, but it's about time for WWE Clash of
Oh
Champions. So
yeah,
I think that's what it's about to be.
man, whatever. You getting a new W? Are you getting a new WWE game?
Oh, I'm getting 2K17.
Okay, okay. Just checking, man. There's a lot of stuff coming out, man. You gonna have a lot to do. I don't know when you are gonna find the time, but okay.
I'll
If they
manage.
added some kind of a like a VR mode to that joint where you could like be in the ring
Oh my
playing,
God, that
would that do it for you? That
that would be
oh
absolutely
my god,
crazy. Just look at
it would
Stone
be.
Cold giving you the finger about to stun you.
And then get stunned straight up. Um, all right, man. Well, look, let's go ahead and shut it down. Tell the good folks where they can find you.
All right, so if you guys want to shoot me that email, give me a newjoker.loadingsnacks@gmail.com. If you want to game with me, Xbox, PlayStation, or also find me on Instagram and Twitter, same NuJoker89 on there. And on Facebook, you can get at me at New Joker's Adventures.
Yeah, yeah. You can do the same with me. You can hit me up on your game system of choice. I'm Empty Shells. It's M space T space SHELLZ. Catch me on the socials at Empty Shells all together. And make sure you go and you follow Loading Snacks on all the socials. Just at Loading Snacks. You can search us, Google us if need be. Shoot over to the website loadingsnacks.com. Check out what we have going on there, and make sure you shoot over to our YouTube and like, share, and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. If you like any of what you heard, then by all means leave us a comment. Give us a thumbs up, and feel free to shoot us an email, loadingsnacks@gmail.com. You can email me directly, gage.loadingsnacks@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. Love to be involved. Don't be afraid to drop us a message or shoot us a little something something on our Facebook page as well. Again, we love to hear from you. With that, we are out. Toodles and lose.